Australia finishing on 130 for 2, so they lead by 221. A lot of focus, I think, on what happened this morning when England lost 6 wickets for 47, resuming 138 behind and looking to bat on to try and get to some sort of parity. Well, they fell 91 runs short of that, and so I'm sure will also include in our discussion the fact they lost 9 for 137 from the point that Ollie Pope was dismissed yesterday. Warner out for 25, Labuschagne for 30, and so Australia's lead is now 221 with 2 days to go, and the forecast for those 2 days looks good. So a result looks inevitable. And let's start with Glenn. No, not start. Don't know what I was going to say. Let's start with Alistair Cook. It's not looking good for England, is it? Obviously.
No, they've had one of those days where I actually said at lunch they would like that 2 hours back. Those 2 hours of from the position we think at 130 behind, or 6 wickets, we could go past Australia, we could put them under pressure with the bat in the third innings, and from the moment that second ball left Mitchell Starc's hand, England were nailed. They were under the cosh. Australia were brilliant today. They talking about setting the tone and nailing your mask down, knowing that how important the first hour was. They got everything right. Yes, they're helped with a little bit of some sloppy batting again from England, but Australia weren't going anywhere. And then when they batted, that was tough today. When the batting, I was watching as an opening batter, thinking I wouldn't want to face Broad, Anderson, actually Tongue and Robson, and they bowled well. They were, a lot better than they did in the first innings. But they gave them absolute donuts to England, and they've really kind of hammered home their advantage.
Yeah, Michael, what do you make of it? Where is the game sitting?
Well, the Aussies are miles in front. Yeah. Really good cricket teams know how to switch on when it really matters. On that first hour this morning, the Aussies arrived, and we were all expecting, even if England had batted badly, we thought they'll get at least another 100. But the brilliance of Starc and the pace, and they got bounced out the surface, and intimidation. It was intimidation of the highest order with Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc. We've seen it in Australia a lot of times where the Aussies suddenly crank it up and the ball starts fizzing through. I wasn't expecting it on this pitch. But that first ball to Ben Stokes and an amazing catch by Cameron Green. How he's caught that, I'll never know. It went so quickly, but his hands are massive and he takes them just so easily. And then there was Kamikaze again with the bat in hand. Harry Brook's a really good player. Love watching him bat, but I just don't think he needs to take the high risk options that he's taken. I just don't understand why you have to back away when someone's bouncing you. And I hope he's looking at that dismissal, and he's got so many years of Test match cricket ahead of him that I hope he's not just going to think, well, the only way I'm going to bat in Test match cricket is trying to hit boundaries all the time. To be a great player and survive for year after year after year, you've just got to realise that you've got to play the sensible game at times. And the field was spread. England had nearly 20 overs to bat to that second new ball. And if they'd have played sensibly and knocked it around, Ben Stokes gets a good ball. You can't do anything about that. But you look at, Harry Brook getting caught extra cover trying to baseball bat a 90 miles an hour bouncer from Mitchell Starc. You've then got Johnny Bairstow, gets caught mid-on. The tail end, then it's difficult. Travis Head picks up a couple because the tail enders are swinging because they don't want to get hit at the other end. So the intimidation, I'm intrigued now, is particularly Harry Brook. Now he's been bounced out and the Aussies intimidated. They got him, a blow on the helmet and he was backing away and the odd ball flew past his nose end. He's going to get a lot more of that going forward, and how is he going to play it going forward in the series?
He tried to play it properly to start with. That was the concerning thing. He actually didn't play those back-away shots the first 5 or 6. Right. And he got 2 or 3 straight past his nose, hands, he got hit in front of the face, he got hit in the helmet. I think he was really unsettled. And the fact he knew what happened yesterday, and he's like, I'm not going down that route. And then suddenly he realised he didn't have any other option but to go down that route because he felt like a sitting duck.
My concern with that is, and Cook is absolutely spot on, he was ruffled. Now, in Test match cricket, you do get ruffled. You're allowed to when you're up against pace and quality, but you just got to try and see it off.
He's never done that before, has he?
No.
He's never had that to do. This is the first time in Test cricket he has faced a 90-mile-an-hour bowling, relentless bouncers. He hasn't got it in county cricket. Another challenge he's got to overcome.
I would think, actually, even before that, isn't the skill showing that you're not ruffled, actually, even though inside you are. But you start showing people like Glenn McGrath that you are.
Well, I've just seen him nodding his head. As soon as I said, I think he's going to face a bit more of that music. Yeah. It's going to be the same tune going forward. I could see Glenn to my left just nodding. He knows exactly what they're going to do.
Let's give the Aussies a lot of credit, because they're a man down. Nathan Lyon arrives on crutches today. He's probably out of the series. We haven't had that confirmed. They're going to talk about that at the end of the match. And they did have to get those 6 wickets, and they went about it, and they were absolutely ruthless.
Well, they were, and I think that second ball of the day's play set the tone after that. That was a vital early wicket. They needed to establish that partnership in Stokes and Brook, and that early wicket, good bowling by Mitchell Starc, just extracted a little bit more out of the pitch. And that can happen sometimes. And Mitchell Starc's an interesting bowler. To me, he doesn't like bowling short. Yeah. And it takes him a while to really work into bowling good bounces. And then, those first ones were shorter length, but there was extra bounce. And sometimes when you're bowling bounces, you really finish your action and it helps you get through. And Mitchell Starc, sometimes bowling around the wicket, doesn't finish his action, gets a bit long in his delivery stride. And the best way to get through that is start bowling a few bounces. So that probably helped him yesterday and today. But getting that wicket and then seeing the way Harry Brook played, the fast bowlers would have eyed that off and see that he doesn't like it.
No.
And he's going to cop a lot more. I was talking to Ricky Ponting before, and Punter said, he doesn't like it. He used a few different, little bit of different terminology than that, but he's going to cop a fair bit more. And if you look unsettled, you don't like the short ball, you're going to cop a bit, especially one now they know that.
Let's hear from Mitchell Starc now. He's with Alison Mitchell.
Mitch, well done on your bowling so far, but what a great position you look to be in going into the 4th day now.
Yeah, it's a shame it finished short today, but I think a really positive morning for us to obviously bowl them out and have a bit of a lead. So, our top order capitalised on that early. There was some good bowling, some pressure built, but our guys got through that and sort of building on that lead, which is a positive position to be in.
Did you possibly expect at all that those wickets might have tumbled even as quickly as they did in that morning session?
I guess there was always a hope that it would. Obviously, they got a bit of a longer tail now with Moe not playing. So, we knew if we could take a couple early and really get some inroads there into their tail, things could have gone the way that they did, and they were fortunate that we did go that way. But likewise, if it didn't get those early wickets, the potential to build a partnership. So, positive morning for us.
What about Nathan Lyon's injury? We hear at the moment that he's got this calf problem. Is there any more news on him and his availability for this match and going forwards?
I'm not sure what the medical message is. He's not looking in too much comfort at the minute, which is a shame. He's been quite robust in getting on the field for us for a long time. Obviously 100 test matches in a row, so he hasn't had to go through those long layoffs throughout his career, and hopefully it's not a long one. Whether he's back in this series, I'm not sure as yet. He's on crutches at the minute, which I think everyone's sort of seen throughout the day. So disappointing for him and for us. He's a quality performer, and he'll be back bigger and stronger, I guess.
What does his possible absence for the rest of this match mean in terms of targets you might want to set and how much time you would like to try and bowl England out?
There's higher pay grades than me to worry about that. That's up to Pat and Andrew, and then the Brains Trust, I guess. We'll just see how the next 2 days pan out, particularly the first couple of sessions tomorrow, see how we're placed with a bit of a lead. I'm not sure if there's much weather around for the rest of the match, but first things first, just build on that lead. Unfortunately, we've got someone like Travis Head who can play a role for us, and did that at the back end of the first innings and has done it in previous test matches. So, if we can do the bulk of the job with the ball as seamers and see if Trav can fill in there when and if he needs to.
The team been impressed with how well the batters have negotiated what have been pretty murky batting conditions, in fact, both innings. Yeah,
they have. I think it's been a bit of a slowish wicket, but there's certainly been periods where, obviously they've got a quality bowling attack and have done it for a long time, and we knew they were going to build periods of where it's going to be uncomfortable for batters and put that pressure on us. And our top order have been fantastic, and sort of it's not just been one or two guys throughout. Obviously, Steve in the first innings was phenomenal. Usman to go the way about it he has today has been fantastic. Trav's waiting in the wings. So we've got guys that have really sucked up that pressure and been really focused on building this lead.
Mitchell Starc, 3 for 88 from his 17 overs. Lots of pace and hostility in there. So we've got two top-class batsmen here, and let's talk about Harry Brook then. I mean, if you're right, I mean, you do. You get a scent in your nostrils, don't you, Glenn, when you see a batsman who is struggling with short pitch bowling. So what does he do? How does he combat this? Because he must know himself that there's a bit of an issue there. So it's up to him, I suppose, to try and sort it out. But what does he do?
Well, I suppose the issue probably only just arrived in the last 24 hours. I bet he's never really thought about it. He's probably never had trouble with a short ball, and certainly in his Test career so far, we've not seen it and gone, oh, he's got a problem with the short ball.
Slow pitches in Pakistan. They were very
absolutely. So we haven't had this discussion. I think in his method, we've seen him play. When he has played, he's taken it on. He's looked to back away, looked to hit baseball shots through mid-on, mid-off, through cover. And Australia have combated that by putting everyone on the fence and saying, right, what are you going to do now? He's tried to take it on, but found the extra pace tough to deal with. So now he's got to think, I'm not sure he can do too much in 24 hours in terms of like actual technical training. He's just got to decide which shots he's going to play, because actually I've just described 3 shots how he's going to play, and actually I think you've got to have one option. So you either go underneath it, as in I'm not playing it at all, or I'm going to hit the ball in one area if it's the right place, and that's it. And just try and keep it as simple as that for this next innings. I think, because he's had all those options, he's got a lot of thinking to do. I think he's just got to clarify and be very simple, because batsmen who play it well are one to have it very simple.
Yeah, I mean, the way he got out was clearly a premeditated shot. If he had stayed where he was, leg stump, he could just have got inside it and it would have whistled over his shoulder, and it would have just gone through to the keeper, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah, so he's got to decide what he's going to do, and in the next 24 hours, you can't do any technical changes, I don't think, in the middle of a Test match. I think that's the wrong way to go. He's just sit down maybe with Trez or whoever he trusts and say, right, what am I going to do tomorrow? Because it's coming from ball one.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem you have is now that people are going to write that he's got a problem with the short ball. I actually thought, when I watched him stay still, he played it okay. The problem he has is that he's just so desperate to hit the boundaries. He's like got this mechanism of thought that he I don't know if he's believed a little bit too much of his press, I'm not too sure, but he certainly has this kind of method that he just seems to always want to hit boundaries. And that's all he's looking for. That shot today, he was just trying to hit another boundary. Up until that, yes, he'd been hit, but that's allowed in Test match cricket. We all have to wear 1 or 2. When he was still and playing the pull shots from around hip height, I thought he played 1 or 2 quite nicely. I don't think it's a massive issue for him if he stays still. It's going to become an issue if he starts moving around the crease like we saw him today. I don't think he has. I don't think I look at a player and think, he's got a real problem with the short ball. He's got a problem with his mindset about wanting to score all the time and hit boundaries. If he can nullify that and realise that the field's spread, the boundaries are pretty much protected, apart from through that offside, and that's what he was looking for. I think if he can just change his mindset and realise that actually when the field's spread, just take the singles, get down the other end, go and stand at the other end on your bat handle and let someone else face 1 or 2 deliveries and give yourself the breather. Real quality players. When quick bowling's on, none of us really love it. Let's be honest. It's quite nice to be down the non-strikers end. So I don't think he's got a massive issue technically. I just think it's his mind and it's his method, and it's his team's method is to keep wanting the scoreboard to be ticking along at 5 and 6 runs and over. And I'm sorry, when you've got that field that Australia had set, if you're ticking along at 2s and 3s and over but not getting out, that's better. By taking it on and trying to hit the boundaries, as we've seen England try, I'm sorry, but against the quality that Australia have, you're going to keep creating opportunities for them. So I am intrigued, not just with Harry, but with all the England batters who were taking it on constantly. What are they going to do the next time those fields are set? Because it's going to come in the second. Well, let's see. Yeah. Are the Baz ballers going to continue to play this? And it is silly, it's stupid. It won't have consistent success. It's already got them in a position in this Test match where Australia are well in front, and it's because of the way that England batted. I actually look at, England, what did they get bowled out in 78 overs? Yeah. And then you've got your bowlers going back out again. What's it like? I'll ask you two as bowlers, what's it like if you're sat on that balcony, 188 for 1, the England team were yesterday afternoon, and you're probably sat there with a cup of tea thinking, at worst, tomorrow afternoon we'll have to bowl. Yep. And then just within 2 hours, you're back out there bowling again. So it's not just, the Bazball way of entertaining. It's what they're doing to the bowling units, because they might talk that it's great to be in this environment playing, but deep down as bowlers, they can't be back. Yeah. They can't be happy to be back out there bowling again.
Very hard. Let's get some reaction. As you said, we are going to hear from the assistant coach, Jeetan Patel, and he's been speaking with Henry Moran.
Well, Jeetan, it's always a bit of a sign when the spin bowling coach comes out after a day's cricket winning than not playing a spinner. It's been
Joe Root, mate.
Oh, well, it's a fair point, but it's been a tough day.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had an amazing day yesterday, and I think it's sort of tossed and turned this game, isn't it? Day one, we bowled extremely well. We just didn't get our rewards. Come back day two, and we get all the rewards, and we set a great standard with the bat. And then this morning, look, it just didn't work out. We're always going to take the positive option in terms of how we're looking to advance the game. And today it just didn't work. I mean, the opposition are allowed to play as well. So, again, this evening, I mean, you saw a masterclass in bowling. Did we get the rewards? No. Will they come? Yes. We've just got to keep coming back at them.
Was that a positive approach in England's batting, or reckless? Because a lot of accusations from experts, pundits, former players, fans saying that it's reckless.
Well, I mean, people are allowed to have their opinions, aren't they? And that's the way it's going to be. What matters to us is what's said in the change room, how we believe it, how we want to take this game forward, and that's the way it's going to be. Look, none of us really are involved in what happens outside this group. So we try to go out there, entertain the crowd, and part of that was taking the option today, and we wouldn't slander any of our players for it.
Because some would say the crowd that are paid £150 to be here would rather see England being out there and batting rather than shots like Harry Brooks, which has got a lot of criticism because it felt reckless to those watching on. Would you say that actually that is the positive option and that is how England want to be playing?
I mean, look, I'm not going to get into this argument with anyone, but no one said it was reckless in New Zealand. Yeah, no one said it was reckless when Joe Root was playing a reverse sweep. So, look, like I said, our guys want to entertain. I think Brookie's option was to take that. That was the only place he was going to be able to hit four, to maybe switch the momentum over. We're about trying to soak up pressure and apply where we can, and part of trying to apply that was to get them off that length, which is obviously tough to score.
And what about the mood? Because clearly in this series, it's felt like England have been in great positions at times and either bad luck or missed chances have come their way. How has it been to keep that energy up?
Do you know what? I mean, the guys have just come up there and bless them, I mean, they've bowled every day so far, but they're excited to get back out there tomorrow. And, you just love that energy within the group. And I think you see a Josh Tong who can't wait to get back out there. He's bowled so well in this match. So is Stuart Broad, so is Jimmy Anderson. And Ollie Robinson's just waiting for that first one. I think once he gets that, he's away. And I think that's how close we are. Look, we really still think we can bowl them out for 220-ish. I'm not going to put a number. I don't want to put a number on it, but we still think we can bowl them out and give us a chance over 2 days to chase something down. We've done it before. Why can't we do it again?
And so that positivity is unbowed up in that dressing room.
100%, mate. That's all we talk about. We never talk about what ifs, what could have happened. How if day one had changed and gone our way. It doesn't matter. It's gone, mate. It's all about tomorrow.
And so this England side and the determination to continue this brand of cricket, is that going to continue regardless? If this game is lost, if the next game is lost, does it just continue? This is the philosophy of this team, and this is won us more games and it's lost, and we just keep on going?
Yeah, well, we've seen in the last year that that's how this team operates. It wants to get better and better and wants to push more boundaries, wants to break more records. And I think part of that is having the courage enough to be able to go, right, let's see how far we can take it. And I think that's the most important thing. Some of the most skillful players in the world up in that dressing room, and they're desperate to show those skills off. And part of that is not getting it right all the time. And that's the way cricket works. There's two teams out there, two very good teams that want to win an Ashes series. And for the people that do pay £150 to come into this ground, that's what they want to see. And I think that's what we're trying to show. Right, if we get on the right side of this and we don't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in my mind anyway. I think what does matter is how we go about it. And I think we're trying to put them on the back foot. But some parts of this game have gone our way and some haven't. Tomorrow's another chance for us.
The approach more important than the result?
100% at the moment. We'll worry about the result on day 5 when we get there. We'll think about that then. Right now, it's about jostling for position to get ourselves in a position to win a game.
Jeetan, thanks so much.
No worries.